Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTN News 24, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. Now the headlines. President Tinubu announces jobs for 774 national health fellows amidst Nigeria's healthcare revamp.
The coordinating minister and the champion of this program has requested for an approval.
Nigeria and China deepen 54-year ties, strengthen bilateral cooperation. Nigeria's defense chief urges regional cooperation to combat Sahel terrorism.
We must be able to have good governance within our countries, fairness, justice, equity. With that, our citizens will feel safe.
Transmission Company of Nigeria reassures it will meet its target of the 10,000 megawatts of electricity by the year end of 2026. President Bola Tinubu has proclaimed an express employment for 774 national health fellows just trained by the Ministry of Health. It was at the launch of the program and a report on state of the health of the nation at the State House Conference Center, Abuja. State House correspondent Musba Danwahab reports.
It was a moment meant for history. History for the nation and the 774 Nigerian youths, men and women, representing each of the local government areas in the country who made it here. Out of the 360,000 applicants who sought the opportunity, these ones are rated the best.
And not a single one of them was here because of one thing.
This program is a bold and transformative initiative that underscores my administration's commitment to harnessing the power and potential of Nigeria's greatest asset, the young people.
Believing that a sustainable development is only possible with strong healthcare system, President Tinubu says the vision of this particular program is to create a chain of health leaders capable of driving meaningful, sustained change and innovation within the nation's healthcare system.
Your selection is just not about recruitment. It's a proof of our commitment of creating a country where equal opportunities exist for every Nigerian, and we can build a dream with them.
And then, to the moment these fellows, meant to be engaged for a period of 1 year, got an express presidential offer.
The coordinating minister and the champion of this program has requested for an approval. So for that, you are hired.
The president also launched a report on state of the health of the nation. From the State House, Musba Danwahab, NTN News.
Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says it is targeting to improve power transmission in the country up to 10,000 megawatts of electricity by the end of next year, 2026. Managing Director of TCN, Sule Abdulaziz, made the commitment at the State House at a briefing organized by the presidential media team called Meet the Press. Nigeria on Tuesday reached a milestone in power generation, generating 5,800 megawatts of electricity, while same was transmitted by the TCN. However, TCN, with current capacity to transmit over 8,000 megawatts, says it is working and targeting to improve the capacity in the next 2 years.
The numerous TCN transmission projects completed in the last 2 years and new ones currently going on, as well as the 8,500 megawatts current evacuation capacity of the company, I can confidently state that in less than 2 years from now, the Transmission Company of Nigeria will conveniently evacuate 10,000 megawatts generated power. By the time we have that SCADA completed, we will be able to see real time whatever is happening on the grid. You don't need to use phone and call somebody. You don't have to think something, hey, maybe this is how it will do. No, real time. Whatever is happening, you will see it. However, to enable us to manage the grid in absence of SCADA, we develop the generation load drop sensitivity, which we call GLDS system, which detects and responds to sudden drop in power generation, preventing cascading failures. Additionally, all our substations have now been fully digitalized and automated.
The managing director, who assured that government has commenced the gradual process of overhauling the aging national grid, also disclosed that the company is making significant progress in the installation of supervisory control and data acquisition to manage disturbances on the grid. And talking security, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has emphasized the importance of inclusive effort in tackling terrorism within the Sahel region. General Christopher Musa told a visiting delegation of the Alliance of Sahelian States in Abuja that Nigeria means well for its neighboring countries. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Good morning. A delegation of Alliance of Sahelian States, led by Aliu Gebi, Nigerian former lawmaker. The delegation is in Nigeria to study the approaches to tackling terrorism. Their first point of call was the National Counter-Terrorism Center in the office of the National Security Advisor.
Nigeria has undergone 15 years of this problem, and we believe there is a lot we want to share with you. This exchange of knowledge will be mutually beneficial and pave the way for stronger partnership in our shared mission.
Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are facing what we faced perhaps 10 years ago. And it would be a disservice to humankind if we don't share the knowledge that we have. The war has been won through kinetic efforts, but we have not been able to win the peace. And to win the peace, we have to use non-kinetic strategies. And this is why it is pertinent we harmonize efforts.
Next up is the Defense Headquarters, where the Chief of Defense Staff highlights the non-kinetic effort in the northeast that has resulted in the mass surrender of Boko Haram fighters and their families.
The kinetic only provides 30% of the solution. The non-kinetic is basic. We must be able to have good governance within our countries, fairness, justice, equity. With that, our citizens will feel safe, will feel wanted, will have a sense of belonging. And it is only then that we can put hands together and work to ensure that we defeat all arms of criminality within our region.
This visit is coming a little over a year since Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger pulled out of ECOWAS, forming the alliance, which in January this year announced the deployment of joint forces comprising 5,000 troops to combat terrorism and other transborder crime.
For Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, efforts must be strengthened to curb illegal mining and kidnapping, a major source of funds to terror groups and criminal elements. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Thank you, Ismail. And still talking security, troops of the Nigerian military have, in the last 7 days, eliminated 111 terrorists across different theaters of operations. The Director Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kange, announced this during the bi-weekly news conference at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja.
Troops, in conjunction with hybrid forces, conducted offensive operations including ambushes, fighting patrols, and clearance operations. During the operations, over 25 terrorists were neutralized, including a terrorist commander known as Abba Ali Emir Khalid of Alafa. 14 others were apprehended, while 7 kidnapped hostages were also rescued. Troops, while on offensive patrol, intercepted and arrested 13 terrorist collaborators in Biu, Chibok, Mungunu, Haul, and the local government areas of Borno State.
Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that troops also arrested 92 terrorists, rescued 75 kidnapped victims, while 117 and 2,939 assorted weapons and ammunition were recovered within the period under review. In the meantime, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has decorated 6 newly promoted Deputy Inspectors General of Police, DIGs, with a call to uphold the core values of the Nigeria Police Force. Francis Form reports that the IGP charged them to remain dedicated, uphold professionalism, and ensure that the core values of integrity, service, and accountability remain at the heart of their duties.
You are stepping into these new roles at a critical time in our country when we face a range of security challenges, and the citizens are looking up to us to provide the needed security. It is not a time to give excuses, but a time to show more commitment to excellence in service delivery.
I want to assure you that we are always there, and we shall continue to be there, and we are going to put in our best to see that we assist in providing adequate internal security in the country.
Newly promoted DIGs are expected to play critical roles in strengthening internal security, implementing strategic reforms, and enhancing public trust in the police force. With these appointments, the Nigeria Police Force further reaffirms its commitment to professionalism, operational excellence, and the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration in strengthening security across the nation. Similarly, a significant step has been taken to enhance the success of the Safe School initiative with the launch of the School Protection Squad, designed to provide rapid response to security threats in schools across the country. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, represented at the launch in Jigawa State, one of the pilot states, emphasized the importance of collaboration and support from all stakeholders to achieve the initiative's goals. Governor Umar Namadi, the guest of honor at the event, reaffirmed his administration's commitment to supporting security efforts in the state. Awal Muhammad reports.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, represented at the event, highlighted that education is the foundation of meaningful development, noting that painful experience of attacks on schools the country witnessed necessitated a comprehensive and inclusive approach to securing educational institutions. He urged communities to actively support the School Protection Squad by sharing timely and credible intelligence with security agencies to ensure the success of the initiative.
As part of this initiative, training programs will be instituted for educators, administrators, and security personnel, who will in turn leverage on the acquired skill to recognize and respond to security threats.
Governor Umar Namadi praised the Nigerian police for the initiative, stating that his administration had already established a safe school rapid response center to address security concerns. He added that while Jigawa remains one of the most peaceful states in the country, the government is committed to maintaining and enhancing security measures.
Over 342 million naira was expended on the establishment of this center, which covers renovation and furnishing of the structures housed in the center, provision of all requisite security gadgets and surveillance equipment, ICT equipment, 2 Toyota Hilux and 4 motorcycles.
With this initiative, stakeholders at the event are optimistic that schools in Jigawa and across Nigeria will be safer, fostering an environment conducive for learning and development. In Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
The news at 10 is reaching you on NTA News 24. Still ahead. Senate suspends Senator Natasha for violating standing rules. Stay tuned.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن.
Nigerian Television Authority (NTA), Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria (FRCN), and Voice of Nigeria (VON) cordially invite the general public to its 19th annual Ramadan lecture. Topic: Faith, Politics and Power, the involvement of ulama in politics and its implications. Guest lecturer, Sheikh Maruf Onike Abdulaziz, Chief Missioner, NASFAT Worldwide. Chairman of the occasion, Idi Mukhtar Meha, Minister of Livestock Development. Special Guest of Honor, Muhammad Idris, Minister of Information and National Orientation. Royal Father of the Day, His Highness Mala Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, Emir of Zazzau. Chief Host, His Excellency Malang Ubasani, the Executive Governor, Kaduna State. Host, Malang Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, Director General, NTA. Dr. Muhammad Bulama, Director General, FRCN. Malang Jibril Baba Ndachi, Director General, Voice of Nigeria. Venue, Lumana Multipurpose Center, River Close off Jabi Road East of Sultan Road, Kaduna. Date, 8 March 2025. Time, 9 a.m. Inshallah. For partnership or advert placement. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
Thank you for staying with us on the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Federal government of Nigeria has commenced a boot camp training program to bridge manpower gap in the steel sector. Flagging off the program at Metallurgical Training Institute, Onitsha, Minister of Steel Development, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Chris Isokbowa, says the training is a major step towards Nigeria's industrialization.
700 applicants successfully qualified for the training, with 150 of them kickstarting the first batch. Participants will be empowered in 4 areas of metalworks, including welding and fabrication. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Steel Development, says federal government is embarking on the program to develop the right skills needed in Nigeria's metal sector.
Following this training, they will be supported with starter packs and supervised to ensure that many of them are able to establish their own businesses. But beyond that, many of them should have enough skills to be able to work in industries that require their services.
Each batch will do 3 weeks and go, the next batch will come. And we'll have enough accommodation for them, we'll have feeding for them, and many other things.
With promises of going home with startup equipment, the trainees are optimistic of the opportunities that the program presents.
By the grace of God, the knowledge extracted from this program will be used and maximized.
With the flag of ceremony over, the Ministry of Steel Development is hopeful that this program will not only empower the youth, but also enhance a sustainable and competitive metal sector as Nigeria works towards its industrial development. Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
In other news, Nigeria is inching closer to ending carbon emission with the expected outcome of the latest tripartite engagement between the federal government through the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement, NESRIA, Oxy-10 Africa Investment Limited, and stakeholders on a National Industrial Decarbonization Program, NIDP, held in Abuja. Mina Daniels reports.
This interactive session, which has brought together environmental experts, including policymakers, demonstrates collective commitment to a responsible industrial environment as Nigeria intensifies efforts through global commitment under the Convention on Climate Change to a strategic move to attain zero emission.
This program is not only a response to the pressing global challenge of climate change, but also a strategic opportunity for Nigeria to assert itself as a leader in sustainable industrial practices.
A framework for decarbonization of the environment and promotion of green economy is expected end result as industrial decarbonization require multiple collaborations to evolve actionable strategies to achieve low carbon emission.
We are at a critical juncture where proactive measures must be taken to ensure that our industrial sector, which contributes significantly to our GDP and to global carbon emissions, is transformed into a driver of sustainable development.
It is important that the country joins the global community in developing strategies and policies that help ensure that we move gradually towards a lower carbon economy.
If you look at the Far North, especially the Sahel region, there's a lot of desertification that's going on. You know, these are all impacts of the issue of carbon and the amount it's been emitting in the atmosphere.
The federal government, on its part, has shown commitment to creating a thriving environment for industries via climate change financing and green technology, as well as enabling research innovations, while NESRIA remains steadfast in the implementation of its mandate. In Abuja, Mina Daniels, NTA News.
Let's shift our attention to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has set up an ad hoc committee to investigate how ministries, departments and agencies of government, as well as government-owned enterprises, utilized bailout funds allocated to them by the federal government from 2015 till date. The resolution followed a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpen tells us more.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues,
presenting the motion, the Minority Leader relied on constitutional provisions which empower Parliament to expose corruption and mismanagement of public funds appropriated by the National Assembly. The thrust of the motion is alleged mismanagement of bailout funds and take-off grants allocated by the federal government to MDAs and other government enterprises. Lawmakers insist that any infraction identified in the course of investigation must not go unpunished.
The House is concerned that the significant financial losses resulting from the mismanagement of these funds represent a substantial drain on the public resources that could have been used for essential services and national development in line with Section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution.
Another probe commissioned by the House seeks to unravel the causes of frequent flight delays in the aviation industry and recommend punitive measures for defaulting airlines.
Air carriers are generally liable for damage occasioned by delay of carriage of its passengers and their baggage, except the air carrier proves that it and its servants or agents took all measures that could reasonably be required to avoid the damage.
The House also mandated its Committee on Public Petitions to investigate a petition by the Ohaneze Ndigbo Youth Council alleging ill treatment of its leader.
Over the unlawful abduction, illegal detention of Comrade Ibayaka or Ibayaka, the national president of Ohaneze Ndigbo Youth Council from Owerri, on the alleged instigation of the governor of Ebonyi State, Nwifuru, and the Nigerian police force.
Several bills scaled second reading at Thursday's plenary, including a bill for an act to provide for establishment of an independent authority for the registration, regulation and funding of political parties in Nigeria. The bill has been referred to the House Committees on Electoral Matters and Constitution Review for further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Thank you, Mitaire. Senate has placed a 6-month suspension on Senator Natasha Uduaghan, effective from March 6, 2025, for violating Senate standing rules. The Red Chamber, however, resolves that if she tenders a written apology, it may consider reducing the period or lifting the suspension. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Senate had 2 weeks ago mandated its Committee on Ethics, Privilege and Public Petition to conduct an inquiry on the outburst of Senator Natasha on 20th February 2025 at plenary over reallocation of seats, an action the Senate says runs contrary to its standing rules. The suspension of the embattled lawmaker is among 7 recommendations of the committee, which were all adopted by the Senate.
Senator Natasha was shown to her new seat, but she refused and insisted that she would not go anywhere, and removed the name tag on her old seat and sat down and shouting on all efforts by other senators to calm her proved abortive.
That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Uduaghan for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended, for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Nigerian Senate in general to a public opprobrium. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
My advice and appeal to her will be that she spends her period of suspension to read and learn our rules very well.
We must demonstrate the highest level of integrity, and it starts with obeying our rules.
She had earlier, at the commencement of plenary, resubmitted a petition on alleged sexual harassment against the President of the Senate, which was signed by her constituents. Senator Natasha is the second member of the 10th Senate to be suspended. Senator Abdul Nengi was in 2024 suspended with regards to allegation of budget padding. Plenary featured first reading of 5 bills, one of which seeks constitutional amendments to enable independent candidacy at elections. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And on health, Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association is leveraging state-of-the-art cancer detection equipment to enhance its ability to detect cervical and other cancers at the earliest stages, ensuring that more women can access life-saving screenings and timely interventions. The national president, Rekia Abubakar, says is in view of the International Women's Day celebration, NAFOA is bringing a promise of hope and a testament to the value placed on the health and future of every woman. Olajide Bello reports.
Current estimates by Human Papilloma Virus and Related Cancer Fact Sheet 2023 indicates that every year, 12,075 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer and 7,968 die from the disease, amounting to about 3.5%. With the theme for this year's International Women's Day, Accelerate Action, serving as a global call to move beyond conversations and take decisive steps towards real change, NAFOA has embraced the theme from awareness to action.
It's all encompassing, and so we want to say that it's a good one, and we are happy. This year theme says Accelerate Actions, and this is one of the steps.
The recent statistics we had, the NAFOA Screening Center is the cheapest throughout Abuja. And I tell you that the services are excellent. So I think it's affordable for everyone.
Meanwhile, as part of its mandate of service to humanity, NAFUA has also inaugurated an upgraded block of 3 classrooms LEA and grading of access road at Zamani community. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
This is the news at 10, reaching you on NTA News 24. Still ahead. Global attention on women and their challenges. Stay tuned.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, 1 person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, 1 person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary health care center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Thank you for being there. As the Lenten season begins, President Bola Tinubu has sent his best wishes to Nigerian Christians, starting this sacred period with Ash Wednesday. This 40-day time of fasting, prayer and repentance prepares believers for Easter. In his statement, President Tinubu urged all Nigerians to embody the love of Jesus Christ through compassion and empathy. He encouraged Christians to help those in need, comfort the grieving, visit the sick, and uplift the marginalized, emphasizing that our love for one another is a true testament to worship. This season of reflection aligns with positive developments in our nation. We ended 2024 positively with a strong economic growth, declining food prices, a stabilizing exchange rate, and improving security. As a season of devotion to God, the President prayed for God's kindness that will bring healing, prosperity, and peace to our nation. He also encouraged Nigerians to use this time for sober reflection, to experience God's goodness, renew their hearts and deepen their faith during the Lenten season. In a similar news, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says, rather than see the joint observance of the holy month of Ramadan and Lenten season as mere coincidence, Nigerians should see it as God's way of demonstrating his desire for unity among them. She made the remark while addressing State House correspondents on the sideline of the 2025 RHI quarterly meeting with state coordinators.
And it's only going to be one God forever. So, and whichever means everybody is going to seek that God, this is the time to seek him. And because God is actually inside every human being, because we're created in his image. But when we say image, do we all look alike? No, we all have to just embody the character of God to be like God, you know, that created us, that wanted us to be like him. So, and that is about being God-fearing.
Ahead of this year's International Women's Day, slated for March 8, the First Lady praised the women in the country for building homes and making the nation proud.
And the theme is all centered around Beijing after 3 decades. What have we done as women? Women, we've come a long way. Even from all the matriarchs of old, they've contributed. And up till now, women are doing phenomenal things. Look at our little Zuriel. You see what we can do? So I don't believe that Nigerian youths are not equipped or they have what it takes. And what does she do? Just an advocacy champion of what good she felt could be about peace. You know, and that's what we all, like I said, and women, I celebrate you. You know, keep doing what you know how to do, lifting your head high.
In a similar development, demonstrating compassion and mercy as exemplified by the month of Ramadan is what Nigeria and indeed Nigerians need at this time of renewed hope. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu shared this insight while breaking Ramadan fast with female members of the Federal Executive Council and spouses of federal lawmakers, governors, ministers, and service chiefs in the State House. Former First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan also attended the iftar, addressing her guests. The First Lady says, while it is sometimes difficult to do good, it must be done in worship to Almighty Allah without seeking acknowledgement or validation from the beneficiaries.
To want to help, but you don't give up. So it's good that the Lenten season is now, the Ramadan is now, so this is the time for us to double our efforts on compassion. You just continue to do it, you just see God in them, and it's as if you are worshiping God through the one you want to help.
This gathering exemplifies her commitment to bringing people together and celebrating the spirit of Ramadan.
In a lecture at the iftar, Head of Islamic Studies Department, University of Ilorin, Professor Azizat Adebayo describes compassion and mercy as the bedrock of human relations, with the month of Ramadan as a special time of training in the twin virtues.
Actually, when we give to others, we give to ourselves. Prophet ﷺ said, "Man nafasat sadaqatun min man," that whatever is given of your wealth does not decrease from it. It actually adds to it.
This is the second iftar to be hosted by the First Lady since coming to office. Now, after fasting from dawn to dusk during Ramadan, One important moment of the spiritual upliftment is the breaking of fast, which comes after refraining from food, drinks, and physical needs, which Islamic scholars say holds deep spiritual significance. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports that it's not only a time for nourishment, but also for reflection, gratitude, and community bonding by believers.
You see those who are closer to you as Muslims are the Christians. So I think today has demonstrated it practically by seeing a good number of them and high profile of them coming to Habibia Society to engage not only in witnessing, but also to participate in distributing food to those who are less privileged. I think this is wonderful.
The fast is broken at sunset with a meal called iftar, shared with family and friends, promoting community bonds and generosity.
Those that, in fact, they don't have anything which you put into their stomach, you get them, you sit together with them and you eat together, or you break your fast together.
Al-Habibiyya Islamic Mosque is among the mosques prioritizes eating together, strengthening bond and unity among Muslims.
The number now is around 2003, 2005 daily, because they cook like 8-10 bags of rice, so you can calculate. It's very easy for you to know precisely, and about 80 crates of egg that we do. Many people have been asking, how do we survive, how do we sustain this? It has always been a challenge. But I think 2 things or 3 things are the fundamentals. One, Allah's blessing.
An initiative of the chief imam. He mentioned it to me yesterday. We were having a conversation. I said that, wow, I want to be part of it because it sends a very strong signal to the Nigerian people about the unity among Nigerians. You know, and I was also just discussing with the camp president that, look, Nigerians are united, you know, ordinarily. And it is important for us to maintain that impression because it is actually real.
This year, the mosque invited Christian leaders to join in the iftar and also shared over 200 packs of food among the less privileged.
Because we always have them around us, and the Bible made us to know that we'll always have them around us. But it is left for us now to figure out how we make the poor to feel the impact of those who have.
Islam encourages believers to feed fasting Muslims, especially the less fortunate, during Ramadan.
Somebody went to Jesus at a time and asked, what is the greatest of the law? Jesus said, the greatest of the law is this: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and your neighbor as yourself. You cannot say you love God, in fact, without loving your neighbors. There is no religion without the love of God. So Christians and Muslims coming together during the time of Lent and Ramadan, even to share food in the mosque, is a fulfillment of the scriptural injunction. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Muslims focus on purifying their body, actions, and thoughts. Breaking the fast is a time of reflection and gratitude.
In other news, International Women's Day is a global celebration dedicated to honoring the achievements, resilience, and contributions of women across all sectors of society. This day serves as a powerful reminder of the ongoing pursuit of gender equality and women's rights. Thomas Obetere in this report highlights the importance of recognizing the diverse roles women play while advocating for a future where gender parity is achieved, empowering women to thrive in every sphere of life.
As the world celebrates International Women's Day annually, individuals, organizations, and government often come together to reflect on the progress made so far towards gender equality and the challenges that women face and the ones still persisting. In a bid to understand the significance of the day and the way forward, 50-year-old legal practitioner Obi Agwancha and others shared their insights on the importance of empowering women and promoting gender parity.
The message being passed on that day is that women also have the right as men to express themselves, to have the same rights at home, office, anywhere they are. It's just to make the women feel and also have the same opportunity worldwide.
One of the significance of International Women's Day is a day whereby we celebrate women who are doing great in every sphere of influence, who are people that represent the community, the society in different angles.
According to our respondents, International Women's Day always serves as a powerful reminder of women's contribution across all sectors, challenging outdated stereotypes and biases that limit women's potentials. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
Thomas Obetre also reports that as women in uniform join the rest of the world in celebrating the 2025 United Nations International Women's Day with theme Accelerated Action, government and policy makers must ensure that women with uniforms get to the peak of their careers just like their male counterparts without discriminations and stereotypes. This was part of the consensus at the event organized to mark the 2025 International Women's Day in Abuja.
This gathering was a celebration of the strength, resilience, and accomplishment of women in uniform services across Nigeria. Dr. Nafisat Shehu Mohammed, the national president of RASOWA, along with other speakers, called for a departure from stereotypes and urged for a deeper recognition of the complexity and diversity of women's contributions. They reinforced the idea that women in uniform are not only capable but also integral to the strength and progress of their respective institutions.
Despite the challenges, one day, one time they will get there. It's not a day's job, but with hard work, they will definitely get it.
Despite the challenges they face, these women are driven by purpose and duty, inspiring future generations to join their ranks. By breaking barriers, they encourage others to overcome stereotypes and embrace diversity and mental strength.
Policies must be formulated that would assist the women in uniform grow within their various agencies.
So they must prepare themselves, they must develop themselves, they must respect themselves, and allow other people also to respect them, so that when the spaces are created, they are ready to step in.
They can be role models to the girl child as well. They can do what other women are doing, their wives, their mothers, their sisters. So I'm happy that this is being done, and I hope to see more of this.
Their collective voices symbolize progress, unity, and empowerment, marking a significant step towards more inclusive and equitable representation of women in uniformed services. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
The former Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, has been invited by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to answer questions for her alleged roles in misappropriation, violation of procurement process, and diversion of public funds to the tune of 188 million naira in the course of disbursing the 2023 budgeted funds for the ministry. A statement by the head of media and publicity of the commission says the former Minister of Women Affairs arrived to the commission headquarters around 11 a.m. on Thursday to face investigators on her alleged involvement in the fraud. Investigations by the EFCC reveals that funds donated for the funding of PBAD Cares for Women initiative were alleged to have been diverted for her self-enrichment. She has not been admitted to administrative bail when filing this report. Meanwhile, the trial of the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Adoza Bello, has continued at the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja. Chukwunonsonwa Bweze reports that two witnesses subpoenaed by the Prosecution Counsel, Kemi Pinheiro, SAN, appeared before the court and were led in evidence.
At the resumed trial of this matter before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, the prosecution counsel, Femi Farihon SN, called up 2 of the 4 witnesses he informed the court of presenting to support his case against the defendant and former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, over alleged fraud preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The first prosecution witness for the day, a compliance officer with the United Bank for Africa, Bimbola Williams, being led in evidence by the EFCC counsel, told the court through a bank statement of the accounting issue standing in the name of Government House Administration, Lokoja, recorded 10 tranches of transactions of 10 million naira each on the 12th of December 2018 as the value date through a check withdrawal in favor of Abu Salam Hudu. The lead defense counsel, Joseph Daudu, SN, in his cross-examination, asked the witness that as a compliance officer who usually works at bank's headquarters or in some instances in some major branches across the country, and with the United Bank for Africa's headquarters situated at 57 Marina, Lagos, and her own address bearing Area 3, Gariki, Abuja, that it is safe to say that she may not be in a position to know the account officer of the accounting issue. He further inquired from the witness to examine Exhibit 2P1 to 2P61 to know if the name of the defendant, Yahya Bello, appeared on any of the bank withdrawals, of which she answered no. The prosecution counsel, while leading Nicholas Ojemohon, a second witness who is the auditor of the American International School, Abuja, in evidence, tendered sets of certified true copies of documents ranging from admission letters to tellers copies of payments and email correspondence between the school and Ali Bello, agreement for prepaid school fees until graduation, school receipts, statement of account belonging to American International School, as well as a letter from the school to the EFCC requesting for the account details of the anti-graft agency for refund, amongst others. Upon further questioning by the prosecution counsel, the witness confirmed that over $845,000 was paid by Ali Bello to the school, being prepaid tuition and fees for 5 of the defendant's children for kindergarten, grades 4, 6 and 8, while the 5th, referred to as future students, and to be enrolled in 2022, were all captured as seen in Exhibit 11P1 to 11P5. Justice Emeka Nwite thereafter adjourned the matter to Friday, 7th March 2025 for the continuation of trial, of which the defense counsel will have time to cross-examine the second witness. Chukwunonsonwa Bueze, NTN News.
This is the news at 10 on NTN News 24. Another look at our top stories. President Tinubu announces jobs for 774 National Health Fellows amidst Nigeria's healthcare reform.
The coordinating minister and the champion of this program has requested for an approval.
Nigeria and China deepen 54-year ties, strengthen bilateral cooperation. Nigeria's defense chief urges regional cooperation to combat Sahel terrorism.
We must be able to have good governance within our countries, fairness, justice, equity. With that, our citizens will feel safe.
Transmission Company of Nigeria reassures it will meet its target of 10,000 megawatts of electricity by the end of 2026.
This is NTA News 24.
The comprehensive relationship between Nigeria and China will be sustained and strengthened to further boost the 54-year-old bilateral relationship between the two nations. This is from the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, when he received the China ambassador to Nigeria, Yu Dunghai, who is among the minister's guests. Salihu Gwanara reports.
The visit
This visit showcased renewed commitment between China and Nigeria in ensuring the speedy implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed in September 2024 when President Tinubu visited China. The minister assured that Nigeria will keep its path of the MOU signed, particularly one that seeks to develop the media landscape through the largest television network in Africa, the Nigerian Television Authority, and the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria in its efforts to rebrand the media ecosystem and sustain press freedom.
And what that NTA seeks to do, that relationship with China, is to share not just news items, but also technology and also information sharing that will benefit both countries. And we intend to do that. Nigeria, likewise, every country will want to have a deep-seated, mutually beneficial relationship with any country. And one of the ways that can be achieved is by sharing correct and accurate information. Misinformation, fake news, disinformation are a danger to the world. And we know that China takes that very seriously. We also in Nigeria take that very seriously.
After I arrived here half a year, I find that the Nigerian media here, I would say when it comes to China, the reports are very much accurate, balanced, objective, and I think present the Nigerian people with a full picture.
Similarly, the minister received a letter for Nigeria to host the 2026 World Public Relations Forum. The national leadership of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations also briefed the minister about the proposed 2025 Annual General Meeting and Press Week, update on the Nigerian Reputational Management Group, and the second National Spokespersons Forum.
WPRF, for those who do not know, is actually one of the most prestigious gatherings of all the professionals in this industry. And for this to happen for the second time on the African continent here in Nigeria means a lot. At a time that this country is trying to market itself, at a time that reforms are happening, at a time that the president is ensuring that Nigeria returns to its rightful place in the Committee of Nations, the hosting of the WPRF here cannot be overemphasized.
By the grace of what you have done and to the glory of God, we now have information and public relations officers as a cadre in civil service. Because what you've done, beyond any other thing, is that you have given your hitherto information officers the opportunity to now have a certificate that they can take home when they leave service. Because public relations is everywhere in the world.
President Bola Tinubu is expected to be decorated as the Grand Patron of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations during the planned global event next year. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
And that concludes the News at 10 on NTA News 24. Thank you for watching. I am Nolin Ebela.